Efforts are being made to boost mental health education in Barbados. A rum distillery, an organization which warns about substance abuse, and a taxi group team up to make cropover safe. Support for the full free movement of regional people with some limitations. And in sports, Shane Brathwaite wins Barbados' second gold medal at the CAC Games.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. In the wake of 3 suicides in the last 7 days, government is moving to further enhance its public education campaign on mental health. The disclosure from Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dr. Sonia Brown. She made the announcement as she spoke to the media at the Healthy Caribbean Coalition's meeting on accelerating the removal of ultra-processed products from Caribbean schools.
We have plans in place in terms of educating the public. Once the public knows that mental health disease is like any other disease, hypertension, nobody really stigmatizes you. Diabetes, we're used to it now. We have to get mental health within the same categories. So there are plans afoot to, and I think some has started to educate the public in terms of what to look for, to educate teachers in terms of their students, what to look for, when to report problems, principles, and so on. Ordinary people in the community, if they have a neighbor, how they can identify issues. So those are things that are in process as I speak. So the government does have a mandate to address those issues through the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Dr. Brown believes there is room for improving access to mental health services across the island.
Accessibility can always be improved. I don't know that I am completely satisfied with it, but it's a work in progress. Right now, publicly, mental health is being addressed within the psychiatric hospital, but there are also polyclinics. Polyclinics for years, even when I was there, have their outpatient clinics for mental health. Before COVID, the community nurses used to visit people actually within the community for treatment and assessment. That was halted to some extent in COVID, but I think they're putting measures in place to start that back. So, but there's always room for improvement.
3 very different entities have come together to help bolster the safety of traveling public, especially as the island's celebration mode for the annual Cropover Festival continues to intensify in the build-up to Grand Kadooment. Mountgate Distilleries, the National Council on Substance Abuse, and ride-hailing app company Pickup Barbados have all joined forces in an initiative with an emphasis on driving responsibly and knowing your alcohol limit. Speaking during the launch for the initiative at the Mountgate Visitor Centre, Deputy Manager of the NCSA, Troy Wickham, explained why it was important for the NCSA to partner with one of the island's largest rum producers.
This is very important for us, and it ties in nicely with our community-based prevention. Know Your Limit program, we will share information on what is a standard drink. We will give bits and pieces on our research. We will also let persons know the dangers and harms associated with the use of alcohol and alcohol consumption. It's important for us at the NCSA to give persons the facts, let them make the choices as they move around day to day, enjoying, especially at this festive time, Cropover.
Mountgate's Trade Marketing Manager Shanice Niles says the company has long emphasized responsible driving and is therefore proud of its partnership with the NCSA in the Know Your Limit radio campaign,
which consisted of 17 15-minute segments on radio stations such as Slam, 98.1 and Hot FM. And it was an educational campaign to inform persons or the general public about responsible consumption, and receive very good feedback on that. It was very widespread, and we got really good feedback. So we are very happy to make one more strategic alliance with Pickup.
And one of the directors of Pickup Barbados, David Hamill-Smith, says they started operation in 2020 and now have about 260 registered taxi drivers under the brand using a metered service.
We see Pickup Barbados as an obvious solution to the problem of drunk driving. The reality is, there are a number of ways for people to get home from partying or when they've had a few drinks. People can designate a driver, you can take a bus, whatever it is. But we see pickup as an obvious solution.
The 16 finalists in the Scotiabank Junior Monarch competition have pulled their positions to determine the order of appearance at the big showdown. That draw took place at Scotiabank on Broad Street today. When the finals come off next Saturday, the 15th at 7 p.m. at the Garfield Sobers Sports Complex, contestants in the Calypso category will appear in this order: Shakara, Sabia, King K, Slay, The Mighty Bit, Ms. Kabiba, Potent and Danica. Khaleesi is the reserve in that competition. Those in the soca category will appear in this order: Trinity, Zaire B, Tay, The Showman, Josh Ox, Ranisha, Lil Status and Joshua B. King Chad is the reserve in that competition. Producer of the event and music officer at the National Cultural Foundation, Kevin Moore, urged Barbadians to come out and give the junior entertainers their support.
Our finalists, ranging from age 9 to 18, are rearing and ready to go. They are eager to perform and cannot wait to vie for the coveted Scotiabank Junior Monarch titles. All they need from you is your presence to cheer them on and encourage them as they go on the biggest stage for juniors during the largest national event and festival in Barbados. So come out, bring your family, tell a friend, and support our Scotiabank Junior Monarch finalists in your numbers.
And Scotiabank's home financing specialist Keisha Gooderidge said the bank continues to be committed to youth development.
They're the reason that we continue to support this initiative for 25 years and more, hopefully. The development of young people is what has continued to motivate us, and this partnership with the National Cultural Foundation. The impact of this program on young people is clearly seen. So many participate, equipping themselves with necessary life skills, the opportunity to learn, enhance their skills, and develop their full potential. We have so much talent in Barbados, and the program really provides the opportunity to showcase it.
Well, your fears of a shortage of sweet potatoes locally are being allayed to some extent. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, says production is not where it should be, but there is no shortage.
The supplies of sweet potatoes have not been as consistent as we have liked it, and has happened in previous years. This has been reflected in the price of the commodity, because it has been reported that sweet potato prices have reached as high as $7 a pound. That, though, has not happened in all cases. One of the things that we are trying to do at the moment is to try to increase production of sweet potatoes. And as we go into the latter half of this year, you will see, for instance, that they will add more supplies of sweet potatoes coming out, and certainly they will be able to meet consumer demand as we progress.
The 6-month dry spell has had a serious effect on production, and Mr. Paul says farmers are trying to increase production and some ease will come.
We've just come out of a drought situation, at least I don't know if we come out exactly, but we had some difficulties in the drought where a lot of sweet potatoes actually were spoiled, damaged in the fields, and we even have to be careful going forward now, because if the rains come in any more frequently, for instance, there could be some damage. However, every attempt is being made by farmers to increase production of sweet potatoes, so I would anticipate that any difficulties being experienced right now should be at least solved in the coming months.
A major project to diagnose dyslexia in children and assist those living with the condition here in Barbados will soon be rolled out. It will be executed by the Rotary Club of Barbados West. Newly elected and installed President Gail Reeves gave some insight into the venture, which forms one of her objectives of her tenure. She was speaking at the club's recent dinner and installation ceremony at the Fairmont Royal Pavilion.
We hope to join with the Dyslexia Association and others to first identify dyslexic students, then provide the requisite resources that will provide them with the tools they need to succeed in school and beyond. With this project, We also hope to further collaborate with the Ministry of Education so that a cadre of teachers receive literacy training in specific areas, which will further support these students. Finally, we also want to close the loop by also working with the families of the identified students. So this is a three-pronged approach.
Well, going forward, President Reeves says the club will be seeking to boost membership and host more hands-on projects.
Our club's goals and objectives are as follows. Our first goal, increase our impact by expanding our hands-on projects in order to add value, attract members, and enhance membership engagement and connections. As part of this goal, we will involve our Interact and Rotaract clubs in more of our projects. Based on the results of our most recent club survey, which was done this year, club members want to be involved in more hands-on projects. As such, you know what they say? We must give the people what they want.
A program has been launched to help children making the transition from primary to secondary schools deal with issues such as bullying and conflict management. Project Moving On was launched by the Ministry of Youth in partnership with the Education Ministry and Bryden Stokes. And during the launch, Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, Charles Griffith, said the pilot program would be rolled out in 15 primary schools.
You know, the idea was that we target every single school this year. The resources would not allow us to do that. But in the future, it is envisaged that you will be impacted and you will be among peers who would have gone through this program. You are the ones who are expected to make a difference at the end of the week training, because you will have information that you can share with your peers in the secondary school who would not have benefited from this initiative as yet.
Mr. Griffith confirmed the ministry will be tracking the progress of the first cohort of Project Moving On.
Our youth officers cover the island, and they will be mandated to follow you to see how this program is impacting on your life for a period of time, because it makes no sense putting the program in place and then we don't know what is happening. So a tracking system will be put in place where youth officers will follow you. We have youth officers that cover the whole country, and therefore they will be checking in from time to time to ensure that some of the things that you will get to learn during the week of Project Moving On will stay with you for a long, long time.
You're watching the CBC NewsNight. We're back with more news in just a moment. CARICOM leaders have given their full support to the full free movement of people across the region. However, there will be some limitations. The free movement provisions will still not apply to the Bahamas and Montserrat. During a press conference, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley noted there are some aspects of the Treaty of Chaguaramas that will require some amendments as they move beyond the free movement of skills.
We are giving ourselves between now and the 30th of March 2024 to make the amendments, because we recognize as well that there may have to be an approach that does not put countries or make countries liable to any form of suit with respect to some of the rights. So there has to be a minimum set of rights guaranteed for the movement of citizens. That will be discussed and agreed upon. That will be captured in the amendments to the treaty. That will also have to be financed, and we're looking at the CARICOM Development Fund as being able to put in place the mechanism to guarantee that each country can bring its minimum level of services up to the same acceptable period and level.
Well, the current status quo of some CARICOM member states imposing visa restrictions on Haitian nationals will remain. Ms. Motley says the Prime Minister of Haiti, Ariel Henry, has asked that his country be excused from the arrangements put in place for the free movement.
A derogation, and we have agreed, because Haiti's circumstances obviously different at this point, and it's a very delicate situation. So the status quo will remain for those countries who in fact still have visa requirements for Haitians traveling.
Guyana's President, Dr. Irfan Ali, says there's a real possibility of reducing the region's costly food import bill by 2025. Based on original targets, he believes countries are doing well.
Yesterday in Trinidad and Tobago, they have distributed, I think, 75 tons of paddy, and they're going back into rice production. 3,000 acres, seed paddy. They're going back into the production of rice. 3,000 acres of rice. Barbados, going now into the production of prawns, setting up the food terminal, putting up the sanitary guidelines. So St. Lucia, diversifying their agriculture portfolio. In every single country, we have seen more investment, more interest, more dynamism, and this is going in the right direction. We're also looking to use technology.
With Barbados, Guyana and Rwanda committing to working on manufacturing vaccines and medicines, Rwandan President Paul Kagame has told leaders the next step in cementing the arrangement is to decide on a procurement mechanism that will be sustainable. Mr. Kagame was among the special guests in Trinidad and Tobago who attended the 45th meeting of the region's heads of government at the Hyatt 8 Regency. The Rwandan president wants Caribbean countries to move beyond declarations of intent and look to solidifying their relationship with Africa.
We are closely linked. The horrors of the Middle Passage and the indignities of colonialism join our peoples in a shared story of struggle, survival, resilience, and ultimately renewal. Many intellectuals and professionals from the Caribbean served in Africa in the years after independence, helping to build our new institutions.
President Kagame congratulated the CARICOM for distinguishing itself as one of the most vibrant regional integration organizations in the developing world. The African leader also met with Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley while at the conference. The two leaders discussed the progress made in operationalizing key areas of cooperation agreed upon during the president's visit to Barbados last year. The tributes were numerous as Barbados said goodbye to multi-talented entertainer, boxer and humanitarian Winston Carloyd Yearwood, affectionately known as Cassius Clay. Representatives of the entertainment fraternity, government officials and countless friends joined with his family to pay their respects to a man that they all say will always be remembered. Kishmar Singist reports.
A final send-off fitting for a man described as an icon. The life and contributions of the late Winston Cassius Clay Yearwood was celebrated during a service of Thanksgiving at the Chapel of Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens. Yearwood, who was born on September 20, 1945, passed away on June 7th. Friend and entertainer Richard Stout says Cassius was far better than what he was accepted for. He remembers him for his humor.
One of the things I remember about Cassius is he introduced me to his beautiful wife from Guyana. And I said, Cassius, where did you meet such a beautiful wife? He said, I met her in the after dark. So, you know, to me, that was memorable. I mean, you couldn't beat that. You know, then he had the band called Eggs. I said, but why do you name the band Eggs? He said, because when they break up, everybody will know they'll break up. Egg break easily. And, you know, he just was a very humorous kind of person. One night they played in front of courts. They had this show, and he had the Eggs that they playing, and he loved James Brown. He loved James Brown to death. And he had this band doing everything that James Brown would do.
For those paying tribute to Cassius, it was an honor to know him. Former Chief Justice of Barbados, Sir David Simmons, says Cassius was grateful for the assistance and role his father played in his life.
My father was the principal of the schools, and he and Cassius forged a valued relationship. Cassius never tired of paying tribute publicly to my parents for assisting in his rehabilitation. And as some of you may have seen on CBC TV recently, one of the highlights of his life occurred on the 1st of January 2001, when he and I both received the Barbados Centennial Honor for our contributions as builders of Barbados in the previous 50 years.
Sister Stella Gibbons says her brother contributed significantly to young people. She says she is proud of him.
In his life, he attempted some strange and dangerous skills. He always thought that you had to follow your dreams to make them come true. And his motto was, if it don't kill you, it will make you stronger. Winston Yearwood Cassius Clay, OBE, BCH. Last performance and retirement party was held on May the 8th, 2019 at the Harbour Light Dinner Show, where he worked for many years.
God bless you. Go safely into heaven, my brother.
May he rest in peace. Kishmar Senjis, CBC News.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Now to tonight's report on business. The ability of businesses to communicate and stay connected after a disaster is a worry for some. However, Chief Executive Officer of Neptune Communications, Julian Jordan, appears to have a solution. He told the Business Report satellite is the answer. Trevor Thorpe has more.
Really consider ourselves to be punching above our weight until we have taken more concrete steps to protect our ability to stay online in the case of a hurricane. And the only way to do that is to find a different way to make sure that we get access to the internet, and satellite is that way. It is not subject to the winds that tear down poles and so on. It is not subject to the fiber breaks and cuts that happen in the ocean from time to time when ships sometimes will cut the keys or cut the cables or have other accidents like that. So when we talk about redundancy, backup, that is what the satellite brings, and that's how it's used worldwide to protect corporate networks.
He said we are still taking too much for granted, and losing internet service and being cut off for an extended period could be a difficult situation. He said communications and connectivity are key elements to lose.
I do not think we're taking an aggressive enough stance to making sure that all of the amenities around the use of the internet that we take for granted, how easy it is to lose those and lose them for extended periods of time. And because we have, in general, such good internet service here, because in general we haven't, God forbid, been hit by a hurricane recently, okay, we are perhaps lackadaisical in our view about how urgent it is for us to kind of get prepared now while we can, rather than wait for something to happen and then try to scramble a response after that.
Mr. Jordan said cybersecurity is an issue and called for a national approach to how we prepare for hurricane seasons and national disasters.
It can't be a kind of a partitioned or spotty or partitioned approach. It needs a national approach to how we stay online. There needs to be the threats that need to be protected against are man-made, and they are natural disasters. So the natural disaster, obviously the hurricanes that we face every year. Cybersecurity is another issue that remains. Cyber attackers are particularly interested in understanding what happens when you have a disaster.
Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Finding employment is a major problem for young people in Barbados. The comment came from the Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, Charles Griffith. He was delivering remarks to participants at the Pathways to Employment Forum at his ministry. During his speech, he called on them to become sponges and make good use of the opportunity afforded them.
This is fueling you with information that when you walk into any particular employment place, any business house, that you're going to have skills that those persons who are seeking to get into the program will not have. And I'm saying to you that make the most of the opportunity, despite the fact that you might believe, yeah, I have to spend a month here doing all of this, it is going to benefit you in a significant way.
The minister told the participants the training will provide them with marketable skills and urged them to become model employees.
You are going to be provided with information that you can walk away with in your pocket. We are providing you with deliverables that you can impact on any single workplace. So don't take it lightly. If you have issues, they have staff that will be at the back that is here every day. But like I said, the onus is on you to take the skills and to make it yours, so that when you walk into any interview room that you're comfortable that I can do this, because I have been prepped through this program to be able to deal with any type of interview that I come up against.
All right, Anne-Marie is back for that second burst of sports. Anne-Marie.
And it's lots of schools action as Queen's College are the winners of the National Sports Council's Under-14 Schools Basketball Competition, beating Harrison College this evening for the title. We have a report of that game in tomorrow's sports. Before this evening's final, the two colleges booked their places with semi-final wins at Barbados Community College. AC were winners over Christchurch Foundation, while QC got the better of Providence. We bounced off this semi-final action with Queen's College in the blue against Providence, and by halftime things were in the Husbands boys' favor, 24-14. Third quarter action on the back foot, Providence immediately went on the offense. Cruz Holford finishing this play. They also stepped up defensive play. O'Shea Holly gets the steal and passes off to Holford, who again is at the executing end of things. But while Providence stepped up their game, QC was not about to relinquish their lead. And point man Zane Gaskin danced through the defense on his way to banking some crucial points. As QC were still in control, at the end of the third, it was a 34-28 scoreline. With such a tight scoreline, it was still anyone's game to win. And Providence had some really good plays. That's Holford again. On the other end, all QC needed to do was get those baskets to maintain the edge, and Gaskin was leading that charge. The ball is heading up court yet again. Gaskin looking to go coast to coast, but where he fell short, Joshua Reeves Daniel was there to back it up. As QC held on to the lead and booked a place in the final with the 46-39 win. Their opponents would either be Harrison College or Foundation. This is the second semi-final action where the college boys took control from the get-go, and at the half, they're up 25-23. With such a tight margin, Foundation knew every basket counted, and they were still in it. Daniel Harden wanted to make the play all his, but in the end, it would be actually Khalil Polar to complete the task. College would respond the very next play, passed it wrong before Darian Messiah had the final say. College on the breakaway, Messiah looking to take it all the way but comes up short, and Harding gets the rebound. Could he on the other end make it count? Oh yes, nicely done. However, in the grand scheme of things, College were still the leaders, ending the third up 39-32. So let's just sew things up and settle the matchup for the finals. College, they did what they had to do to be ahead of their opponents to finish with the 50-40 win to face Queen's College for the Under-14 title. Now to football, a draw for St. Andrew Lions and a win for BDF Sports Program were the highlights of the latest action of the BFA Premier League. Playing at the Wildy AstroTurf, the 10th place Lions faced off with UW Blackbirds, who sit in 5th, while BDF Sports Program got their win over Empire. Sitting at the bottom of the tables, any win for St. Andrew Lions would be about lifting their spirits. And it looked like they were on the path when, in the 12th minute, they got on the cards first over their UW Blackbirds opponents, thanks to Shaquan Phillips. But before the halftime whistle could be blown, the equalizer came. The man is brought down in the box, and immediately the referee points to the penalty area. Stepping up to take it is Niall Reid, and it bounces off the crossbar to make it 1-1 at the end of the first 45. Lions will pull things back in their favor when in the 55th minute of play, Jamal Williams beats the keeper to slot into the left pocket. More to celebrate in the Lions camp as Shamar Edwards also got his name on the scorecards, beating the defender, then the keeper, and even a last-ditch effort from another of the UW defense team to make it a 3-1 scoreline. But Blackbirds were not going to rest at this point, and pressing hard, Dimitri Dzako is now 3-2. I don't think it was over. Yuri had one last to lock things up. Cliff Gooding-Edgell, the man of the final say, as UWA Blackbirds and St. Andrew Lions end at 3-all. And it was penalties that determined the outcome of the match with Empire and BDF Sports program. Daniel Calvi first up to give Empire the 1-0 lead. BDF then drew things level when Carlos Barnett hits off the upright to convert this penalty that was awarded in the 32nd. And literally 5 minutes later, he was back at the penalty spot looking to convert again, and that he did, and that's all the BDF needed to beat Empire 2-1. Now, St. Winifred's and Arthur Smith Primary have advanced to the round of 16 of the National Sports Council's Primary Schools Football Competition. Playing in Zone 7 today at Brian Hall, St. Winifred's were in winner's row. Final assignment in the opening round for St. Winifred's in the green were the boys from St. Lawrence. And just what no team wants, an own goal. And with that, St. Winifred's was on the cards. They would then add one of their own. Mason Corbin gets the ball in front of goal and takes the keeper out to make it a 2-0 scoreline, and just watch the celebration. And how about one more for good measure? Not an easy goal though. The keeper fights to keep it out. But here comes Luca Bascom nicely into the right pocket. St. Winifred's not only win 3-0, but also top the zone and are heading to the round of 16. We also took in the match between Milton Lynch and Shirley Chisholm Primary, formerly Vauxhall. And after a goalless first half, this was the play that sealed the win for Shirley Chisholm, as it was created and executed by Kadarius Allen, who beat the defender and then the keeper with a powerful right boot. 1-0 would be all they would need to take the win. And the round of 16 will begin on Monday after the first round of action is completed tomorrow in Zone 8.
That's our time tonight. Thank you for yours. I'm Pearson Bowen for the crew. To all of you, good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for visiting us. Now, if you want to see more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always go to cbc.bb for the latest news and current affairs.